So as some of y'all may know, I am not a huge football fan. Like, I'm really not. Like, honestly, I can't even say I'm not even a huge football fan. Nigga, I don't even watch football. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm just now starting to watch football. Like, swear on everything. Like, last year was my first year actually, like, seeing a few teams play. Like, just a few, honestly. Like, I don't know what it is, y'all. Like, I just had, like, I ain't even going to lie to you. I just had a weird childhood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say I had, like, the most strict parents, because I really didn't. Like, I still had games and stuff like that, but like I had like a weird childhood where, like, bro, I was at one point I was always watching was Disney growing up. Then I became like a DS kid. Like, I was playing Sonic, Mario, all these other shit. I became a PSP fan. Like, bro, all these things. Then I moved to WWE. Then I went to like basketball. Like, basketball was the last thing I actually started, like, you know what I'm saying, watching into where I'm at now. And I didn't start watching basketball until 2014, 2015. Like, bro, I just had a weird childhood. I never could fit football in that bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could never fit that hell in there. But, you know what I'm saying? We changing our life. We gonna get into it, bro. Bro, my homie Jordan, bro, always tells me, bro, I gotta get into football, bro. I'm missing out. So, you know what I'm saying? We making it right, bro. You feel me? We making it right. We starting here, bro. And we all know who this is. We all know Unc, bro. We all know Unc, bro. If you watch Nightcap, bro, shout out Shannon, bro. Shout out Ocho, man. We about to find out how good was Ocho, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, the way he be talking on the pod, bro. Hey, I heard he was really like that. You feel me? I heard he was really like that. So, man, you know what I'm saying? Shout out, I believe this video is by Blitz? Yeah, by Blitz. Shout out Blitz, man.
His
see what we got, bro.
Permanently Velcroed
Let's see,
into
man.
NFL history. Between the gold teeth, gold hair, and gold jacket, Johnson was the
I know he was fast as hell, though.
Receivers in the 2000s. But how good was number 85, or Ochocinco, actually?
Let's go.
Chad Johnson was raised by his grandmother in an area of Miami that was pretty much the real-life version of GTA Vice City. But Chad found an escape from the money, hustlers, and poorly animated streetwalkers through football. From a young age, Johnson's playmaking ability was obvious, but poor behavior and even poorer grades kept him from playing D1 college ball. Instead,
he didn't play
D1?
D1?
Santa Monica Community College, where wide receivers coach Charles Collins took the young, cocky wideout under his wing, and he told Johnson exactly what he needed to hear.
He thought he could play, but he couldn't play worth a turd. Yeah, he was really a turd.
Nonetheless, with coach's help, Johnson quickly shed the turd moniker and became a key contributor to the team. But even though Johnson was maturing on the field,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. His story already sounding, bro, like cool as hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Damn, bro. See, I'm so, bro, y'all gonna be looking at me like this nigga don't know nothing, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, I'm late, bro. I don't know shit about football. I don't, man. I don't.
Persisted, making him academically ineligible.
And I ain't even gonna sit up here and act like I do.
Season. But with guidance from Coach Collins and his tell-it-like-it-is approach,
he was really a turd.
Chad got his grades up and stepped his game up. After 3 years of junior college, he transferred to Oregon State, leading the Beavers to an 11-1 record.
What that say?
In his years of junior
I saw
college,
OSU.
He transferred to Oregon
State. They go by OSU?
State, leading the Beavers to an 11-1 record in a season that saw Johnson catching everything, including the attention of NFL scouts.
Y'all talking about me?
Johnson was selected 36th overall in the 01 draft by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Damn, 01?
Cincinnati has selected wide receiver from Oregon State University, Chad Johnson.
A team that hadn't delivered their fans a winning season for over a decade.
He low-key before my time anyway, bro.
To struggle under Chad's first
depending on when he retired.
85's commitment and love for the game could not waver.
I've heard players talking about that they don't want to come to the Bengals, but this is where I want to be. Oh, they losing? Well, I'm going to do everything I can to change everything around.
Johnson was so dedicated to his craft, the guy never left Paul Brown Stadium. His first 2 years in the league, Chad literally slept in the stadium's players' lounge, making it easy to be that first one in the building, last one out kind of guy. Following a disastrous 2-win season in 02, the Bengals hired Marvin Lewis to transform the team into a playoff contender. But Chad Johnson had set his sights even higher.
Secret. I want to be one of the greatest ever play this game.
That's not a secret.
But I want to be better than Rice.
That's right.
Y'all got to help me.
And we're going to help you.
Damn! The sky-high aspirations.
I don't know if you're better than Rice, though.
2003 with a disappointing 1-4 record. The breaking point for Chad came after a Week 5 overtime loss against Buffalo. Johnson was so frustrated by his performance, after the game, he wrote Bengals offensive coordinator Brad Protkowski a $100,000 check and told him to cash it if he couldn't perform at a high level against their rival Baltimore Ravens.
Next game, I went crazy.
I went off.
Chad went for 130 yards,
Sheesh.
while also smoking Hall of Fame safety Ed Reed on an 82-yard touchdown. Brodkowski tore up Johnson's $100,000 check the very next day. As the season rolled on, Johnson's dynamic big play ability as well as his national popularity were on the rise. He loved the game, but as he would soon begin to find out, he also loved making the lives of opposing defenders absolutely miserable, something he did with his feet and his mouth.
What? Oh, get to him. Let's go. Get to him. Let's go.
Johnson's
he was a
verbal
talker.
jabs and creative one-liners were legendary and redefined NFL trash talk.
Hey, come on. I want you right there.
Chad got under his opponent's skin not just before or after the play, but even during.
Chad Ochocinco, who is known to talk. This dude was the only player, the only receiver to ever talk trash to me during a run.
Johnson finished 2003 setting a new Bengals single-season franchise record for receiving yards, the first of 3 times Johnson would break it during his career. Over the next 2 years, Johnson's game improved. So did his knack for coming up with new ways to get under his opponent's skin. Once sending a care package of Pepto-Bismol to the entire Browns secondary, suggesting they'd be sick to their stomach trying to cover 85 in their upcoming game.
People thought that was a ploy. It wasn't. Chad was a showman that way, and he needed that.
Then, in 05, he created his famous Who Covered 85 in 05 list, which listed names of opposing teams' star DBs next to a space for
Oh
Chad
my
to mark if
God!
they successfully covered him.
He was checking them off week to week.
Coach Lewis wasn't a fan of that one.
I'm always telling him, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
But cover list or no cover
Y'all
list,
be poking
it was
the bear
clear
like crazy.
no
I ain't
one
gonna
could
lie
cover
to you.
Chad Johnson.
85 will always be open.
2005 was the year the rest
85
of the
will
Bengals
always be
finally caught up
open.
to Johnson's high-level play.
Cincinnati clinches their first division title since 1990.
Damn.
Johnson led the AFC in receiving yards for the 3rd straight year with 1,432, but it was his over-the-top touchdown celebrations that elevated Johnson's profile from star receiver to superstar receiver. There was the river dance performance. He resuscitated a ball with CPR, proposed to a cheerleader, and performed a pylon putt routine.
Bro,
With the CPR,
what?
Proposed to a cheerleader.
This nigga Ocho, bro. I ain't gonna lie,
And performed
bro.
a pylon putt-putt routine.
I wish I was watching
Tiger
it when he
Woods
played,
fist
man.
pump. That's right. It was a Bengal shouting out a tiger. Gotta love it. But there was more. On Christmas Eve, Santa Ocho followed up a 41-yard touchdown by pulling out a Santa bag and tossing gifts into the stands. Despite Johnson putting the fun back into the no-fun league, an early playoff loss to Pittsburgh, plus an injury-plagued start to the 06 season, left Johnson convinced he needed a change to get out of his rut. It all started innocently enough. As part of the NFL's celebration of Spanish Heritage Month, Johnson began referring to himself by the supposed Spanish translation of his jersey number, Ochocinco.
He tried to speak a lot of Spanish, and he was always wrong when he tried to put it into a sentence.
Aquí not.
So Ochocinco just kind of made sense.
Because Ochocinco wasn't the correct Spanish translation of 85, but Google Translate was only 6 months old at the time, so Chad and everybody else just went with it.
Ochocinco from now on. Anybody that writes about whatever I say today, you call me Ochocinco. Do not say Chad.
The nickname became such a hit that Chad had the equipment manager create the Velcro to mock up a tearaway Ochocinco jersey for pregame. And just like that, a new persona instantly breathed new life into Johnson. In a Week 10 matchup against the Chargers, Chad went God mode, hauling in 260 receiving yards to go with a pair of touchdowns. Johnson calls this game the high-water mark of his career. Even today, on those rare occasions when Chad isn't eating at his favorite restaurant,
they say breakfast of
I thought bro had a gambling addiction.
Dinner of champion.
I could have sworn I heard something about that. Might be wrong though.
Fancier restaurants, Chad's been known to tip his waitstaff $260. That's $1 for every yard he gained during that epic afternoon against the Chargers in 2006. But the numbers didn't stop there. The next game in New Orleans, more fireworks, with Ocho lighting up the scoreboard with 3 touchdowns and a $190 in receiving yards, enough to give Johnson a then NFL record for most receiving yards in back-to-back games ever. The following week, he did it again, going for 123 yards against the Cleveland Cleveland Browns, accumulating the most receiving yards across a
Bro, be
3-game
torching the
span
Cleveland Browns.
since the
Fuck.
NFL-AFL merger. The Bengals finished with just a 500 record, but Ochocinco still turned in a monster season. He caught an NFL-best 1,369 receiving yards, enough to become the first Bengal ever to lead the league in receiving yards. So,
nah, that's the
how do you
same.
celebrate
I ain't gonna
such an
lie.
accomplishment? If you're Chad Johnson,
Bro was
you
accomplishing a
celebrate
lot.
by racing a thoroughbred racehorse. And Johnson beat the horse by 12 lengths. Sure, Johnson was given a 100-yard head start in a 200-yard race, but we can't let facts get in the way of fun, right? Now, if you think the pony stunt was a bit braggadocious, brace yourself, because Ocho takes it to the next level in Week 1 of the 07 season.
What does that say?
Future what?
Future Hall of Fame.
Future Hall of Fame is
Was
crazy.
this stunt a little silly? Yes. Was it a little disrespectful? Maybe. Head coach Marvin Lewis, what did you think of the move?
Bad move.
But at the end of the day, wasn't this just a fun guy doing something a little funny?
Ocho
You be
always
the
doing
judge.
something, man.
Child, please. Child, please. Child, please.
1 week later came the famous shootout by the lake, where Chad went for 209 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. The second was followed up with an ill-advised leap into Cleveland's notoriously rowdy dog pound section. Ocho was doused in beer and given the Cleveland salute. But more importantly, by game's end, he
rewrote the Bengals record book. You're now the all-time leader in yards receiving, surpassing Isaac Curtis. What does that mean to you to hold that kind of record in your career?
It means a lot. It says a lot.
And it should. It's still a record he holds to this day.
Damn.
But then again, Chad is.
The Bengals all-time leader in pretty much every receiving category.
Fast forward to Week 12
That's
against
wild.
the Titans, and all cameras were on Ocho. When he
never
borrowed
left
one of those
them?
cameras to celebrate 3 touchdowns and a career-high 12 receptions.
And now he's running the camera. He's taking the crowd shot.
It was a special
Bro had
day for
all
Chad.
control of
Not
the
only did
team,
he
bro.
secure another 1,000
Bro
yards
had a
receiving
complete
yards, the
control
6th
of the team.
consecutive of his career, but Ocho also broke the Bengals' all-time reception record. Chad finished the year breaking the Bengals' single-season receiving record for the 3rd time in his career, with 1,440 yards. Then, just before the start of the 2008 season, Johnson legally changed his name to Chad Ochocinco. But with everybody already calling him Ochocinco, why go through the trouble of making it official? It all goes back to 2006, when Ochocinco was fined $5 million for
altering the NFL uniform.
Johnson was so mad, he changed his name just to stick it to the NFL and make them put Ochocinco on his jersey.
People were like, that's stupid. Ochocinco, that's not even 85. Okay, who cares? He
Oh,
gets
God,
a
what the
percentage
fuck?
of every sale of a jersey that's sold. I think it's brilliant.
And Ocho sold lots of jerseys, giving him lots to smile about in 08. But
Boy, with the
on the
gold
field,
grills.
not so much smiling. Ocho had an awful first season as Ochocinco, with the Bengals starting 08, going 0-8. Things didn't turn around until the next season, when Chad
Damn, really?
gifted fans another term to add to the sports pop culture lexicon. Chad gave us child please.
Child, please.
Child, please. Child, please. Child, please. Child,
Nah,
please.
that's
It's
crazy.
basically
A nice way of telling someone, you.
and
It
was
really
that
is.
child please /
You.
attitude that
It
Cincinnati
really is,
needed
though. That's
to get back
crazy.
on track in 09. Things
Child,
got
please.
fun again. During preseason, we saw Ocho kicking field goals. By midseason, he had a very innocent light bribery charge.
There he had $1 in his hand as if he said, oh, I bet you $1 that that's a completed pass.
Either that, he was going to pay off the officials.
Then, after taking one to the house against Detroit, Chad was back to his old showman self, with a little sideline dress-up routine complete with a sombrero and poncho.
What the
Some found the
fuck?
celebration disrespectful, but imagine how much
Like
worse
what?
it could have been had the petting zoo donkey Chad hired not been turned away by security. That would have been offensive. But there was nothing offensive about the Bengals' offense in 09. They finished with a 10-6 record and won the AFC North. Cincy fans had visions of Super Bowl 44 dancing in their heads. And finally, the time to win it all was not now. Bengals were knocked out of the playoffs by a pre-butt fumble Mark Sanchez and the Jets. It was a brutal loss, with Chad held to just 28 yards, courtesy of Hall of Fame corner Darrelle Revis. Ochocinco
Damn.
wasn't shy, making it known who the Bengals needed in 2010. And the front office went for it, bringing the equally outrageous Terrell Owens to Southwest Ohio.
I'm definitely pleased to be here.
Believing T.O. was the missing piece to bring it all together, expectations for the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin and the entire Bengals squad were higher than ever.
What we have on
As it
paper,
should've.
if we don't win a Super Bowl this year, it's a damn shame.
But the thing about NFL football, they don't play it on paper. They play it in real life. And the Ocho Owens experiment was a disaster. T.O. did lead all Cincy receivers in yards, receptions, and TDs, but the Bengals went from a playoff caliber 10-6 team without him to crashing and burning with him at 4-12.
Oh my God.
It's terrible. I mean, that's just plain and simple.
Maybe it was too much ego, too much personality for a single locker room. But the Bengals clearly overestimated the impact these two former All-Pros could contribute on the field so late in their careers. The only time the dynamic duo scored in the same game was in Week 7 against Atlanta.
Really?
This was one of only 2 games Chad would have over 100 yards that season. The other game? That came against the team he would ultimately be traded to in the offseason, the New England Patriots.
So,
the
damn.
Bengals felt Chad's on- and off-the-field distraction now outweighed his performance. The Hall of Fame jacket, the name change, the constant trash talk. Those were fine when the team was winning, but after going 4-12, his antics were suddenly less easy to tolerate. But Chad welcomed the change of scenery and looked forward to working with Bill Belichick, who was known for getting the very best out of his players and had a history of rebooting troubled veteran receivers. Prime example, Randy Moss, who saw a career resurgence when he joined the Patriots in 2007. Again, it all sounded good on paper, but Ochocinco struggled, shifting from star receiver in Cincy to barely contributing role player with the Patriots. He turned in the least productive season of his career, catching just 15 passes for 276 yards and 1 touchdown, all career lows. The Patriots did make it to the Super Bowl, and Chad did give Tom Brady his longest play of the game, but with younger talent like Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, and Rob Gronkowski on the roster, it came as no surprise when Ochocinco was released that offseason. A month later, friends and family back in Miami were hyped to learn Ochocinco inked a 1-year deal with his hometown Dolphins. It was all coming full circle.
It's good to be home, and I don't have a choice but to
Okay, he
succeed.
played for the Dolphins
And
too.
looking to shed his controversial image, Chad legally changed his name back to Johnson before reporting to Dolphins camp, thinking it would make him less of a distraction. But the thing is, whether it was Johnson or Ochocinco, Chad was still Chad and would always be a distraction. Just a couple weeks into camp, Johnson got into a verbal altercation with his wife, which quickly turned violent.
NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson faces a domestic abuse charge after a violent incident involving his wife.
Johnson headbutted her, causing a 3-inch laceration.
You what? My nigga, you headbutted her? Oh, hell no, bro. No, bro. Ah, man. Child, please. Come on, no way you did that shit.
Johnson the next day.
You know, I just think it's the best for both of us that, you know, we kind of part ways at this point in time.
Damn. Just like that, Johnson would never play another down in the NFL. Over his electric...
That's how he got out of the NFL? Bro, why did I not know that?
11-year career, he amassed 6 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, and every major Bengals all-time receiving record. His feet were arguably the fastest we've ever seen, and so was his mouth. That just never seemed to stop running. But he used both flawlessly to be a nightmare for opposing defenders. Love him or hate him, he didn't care, as long as you were tuned to The Ocho Show. Subscribe and watch more.
Hey, man, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Not even hopefully. We know Ocho is probably a different man now. Probably made a mistake, but like, damn, bro. Like, I just don't understand when niggas be doing that shit. I just can't, bro. I just can't. Shout out Ocho, bro. Shout out Blitz, man.